Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here, and you are looking at one of the greatest rifles ever made. Alright, maybe you guys don't think it is, but I think it is because it's one of my favorite rifles. And in fact, the Mini 14 is probably my favorite rifle. You know, of course, it's in the name, right? Redneck Mini 14. Anyway, this is my third Ruger mini-series rifle in my collection. The first one I ever bought was a 582 series with a wood stock, and then I have a 186 series that I got a couple years ago. That's a Mini 30, which was made in 1986, I believe. This particular Mini 14 is a 184 series, which dates back to 1985, and it has a side-mounted scope. Now, I never thought that I would get a Ruger Mini 14 with a scope, but when I found this one on Gunbroker and I saw the setup with the side mount instead of the, like the rings directly over the action, I just kind of fell in love with it, and ever since I got it, I have grown very fond of this rifle, and I cannot wait to take it out and test it out and see how accurate it is and just how it shoots. Anyway, I found this one on Gunbroker from one of the sellers that I keep an eye on every once in a while, and it was $6.49, and of course it came with everything that you see here. The rifle with the synthetic stock, which I don't, this is the first synthetic stocked Mini 14 I've had, and I really like it. I've wanted to get one for a while. The side-mounted scope, which is a Tasco 4-power scope, so it's very old school. But with this old school rifle, it is of course fitting to have an old school scope. And who says you can't hit with a 4-power scope? Most people just dial their scope all the way up anyway. So if you have a fixed scope, you're not going to do that because you only have one setting. Anyway, the rifle, the scope, the 30-round Tapco magazine, which I do like the Tapco magazines. I find them to be very reliable. And then, of course, this Butler Creek sling with the extra ammo loops. So pretty good deal for, $6.49. And, of course, you have all your fees on top of that, your shipping, your FFL, your tax, all that kind of stuff. But $6.49 for the rifle, and I think that was a pretty good deal. Now let's take a look at it. Of course, so it's just a standard Mini 14. It is not a ranch rifle. I think the term ranch rifle was designated for rifles with the ring mounts, the bases for the Ruger rings. I think that was what was designated the ranch rifle back in the day. Of course, they're all equipped with that now. Let me get around the camera here. Of course, your Garand style action, and of course it's kind of dark in here. Your Garand style action, last shot hold open. Let me get this closed here. Let's take a look at this scope. And of course, it has a side mount scope. On Mini 14s, most Mini 14s, except for I believe the 180 series, they all have this little plate here over where the last shot hold open. The guts for the last shot hold open are covered by a little plate, and you take that plate out and replace it with a different plate that can accept this mount, and then you have a side mount scope, which means you can use your iron sights. Now I want you to see this here, because whoever owned this rifle before me, man, this is going to be hard to show. Okay, if you can see here, the sight is actually like dremeled out. And it's like they took the peep sight, it's supposed to have a peep sight, and they cut it to where it's just like a basic notch in the back. And it's not like it's just broken. Like, you can look and you can tell that it has been cut, because it's cut so perfectly to where the sides match right up with the base of the sight. So somebody purposely did this, and I did buy another aperture piece to go in there, and I bought another I think it's called the base, but the big part of the sight, because this one's really scuffed up, as you can see. And so I bought a new one of those. So one of these days I'm gonna take that rear sight apart and put the new parts in so that it has an actual decent sight on it. Now, of course, you can still use that sight, but it's not as good as the actual peep sight. Another thing about this particular rifle, and again, somebody purposely did this, they cut the front sight. If it'll focus. Come on. Oh, this camera focus. There we go. You can tell right there that somebody cut the front sight to where it sticks up like this. It's not supposed to come like that. It's supposed to go straight up and over. So somebody purposely cut these sights to look like this. Now, I'm not concerned about the front sight. I don't really care about that. It actually kind of makes it look a little better, maybe a little more user-friendly. But I'm definitely fixing that back sight, because that is just dumb. I don't know why anybody would do that. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that. But anyway, everything else about this rifle is just your basic Mini 14. You have your Garand style safety, and the trigger guard is safe and outside is fire. Your Garand action, your adjustable rear sight, and your blade front sight. Synthetic stock, 30 round magazine, and of course your Tasco 4-power scope. And it's just a basic crosshair scope, nothing special, but it does, it is a pretty cool looking scope. When you put it on this rifle, it just makes for a nice package. It makes for a nice all-around rifle, and it's good. You can use it for home defense. You can use it for long-range offense. Well, maybe not extremely long range. You can use it for coyote hunting, or deer hunting, even depending on what load you're using. You can use it to hunt pretty much anything around here. Bobcats, or coyotes, foxes, things like that. You could use it on deer. I recommend using something else, something a little bit bigger. But you can use it for a lot of things. And that is what I think, that's one thing that I really like about this rifle, is that you can use it for a lot of different applications, because it does have adjustable iron sights. It does have a scope. Granted, it's not a very long range scope, but it does have a scope, and you can use it for up to 100, maybe even 200 yards, depending on how good your eyes are. It's semi-automatic, and you can use 30 round magazines. So you can use it for a variety of different things. And I just really, really like that about this rifle. After I take it out to the range and see how good it shoots, I'll do a follow-up video and tell you how much I actually do like this rifle. And, after I shoot it, of course, what I do and don't like about the rifle. Because you never know, maybe I won't like it. I don't really see that happening, but you never know. Anyway, that is my new used Mini 14. I absolutely love it so far. Of course, I haven't shot it yet, but I will shoot it in the next month or so. I'll take this out, and along with some other new guns that I've picked up over the last couple months, and test them out and see how I like them. Anyway, that is the Ruger Mini 14 with a side-mounted scope. Subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.